All right, guys, this is Ty Zen broadcasting from Dallas, Texas, and I got my buddy LeonFood.com with me, and he's broadcasting from the great city of Austin, Texas. That's the capital city of the one of the state of Texas. I'm getting feedback.
It's not for me. I got my headphones on.
Okay, let me just mute whoever it is. That's good. Okay. Do you hear feedback on your side?
I don't.
Okay. All right, so I found it. It was on my side.
Okay.
Okay, so Leon and I wanted to talk about the recent run-up in the price of Ethereum here. You were going to talk about your thoughts and theories on why the price of Ethereum is running up.
Yeah, I've been. It's been running up since the beginning of the year, since the new year, and there hasn't been really a lot of news. There's been like a lot of speculation. When you hear, uh, right now, I think what's hot right now is people are trying to separate the blockchain and Bitcoin, right? Like recently, Mike Hearn, he quit, right? One of the core developers. I'm sure we all heard that he wrote a blog post a few days ago saying that he's quitting. He's no longer going to be part of the community.
Yeah, and Mike Hearn is a pivotal figure because he actually had lots of experience coming from Google.
Yes, yes, he did, and he was one of the original core developers when Gavin Andreessen took over. I think he gave commit rights, the open source code of the Bitcoin repository. I think he gave it to 3 or 4 or 5 other core developers, and they have rights to the repository to commit code into the Bitcoin source code, right?
So they basically they have the authority and the permission to add new code, computer code to the Bitcoin software.
To the Bitcoin source code, yes, and he was one of them, right? He was one of the core developers that had that right, and so therefore he announced that he left. But where did he go? He went to this place called R3, which is trying to use the blockchain technology to help banks settle transactions.
Yeah.
And what I read someplace was that a lot of these companies that are experimenting with blockchain technologies are actually using Ethereum. Okay. Last year, Samsung was writing some contracts to do like smart appliances, and IBM was also doing some research and development, and they've been using Ethereum as a platform, right? So,
If you don't mind me asking, like in addition to IBM and Samsung, I also read somewhere, or heard somewhere that Microsoft was also doing something similar.
yes, yes. So if you
So
look at the the Ethereum charts, you can see that after it launched last summer, there was a huge spike up and it just crashed basically. And
yeah,
basically it was going down all the way until like the pivotal moment that where the trend changed from down to up was really the Microsoft announcement, right? When Microsoft was publicly backing Ethereum, right? And basically they're going to be making it as like a blockchain as a service, where Microsoft could be hosting all the infrastructure, and they're creating development tools that you could write blockchain application software on top of their platform. I don't know too much about it, but I definitely know that it definitely that is probably Microsoft is the biggest reason with the turnaround in price. But the thing is, all of that is old news. Like none of that, the Samsung doing something with it, and Microsoft and IBM, that was over the summer. None of that is new news, right? Um, but I'm not really sure as to why this run for the last 3 weeks has taken the price up to $2, $2. Um,
Now, hey, I have a question about this.
yeah.
Like, of all the blockchains that Samsung or Microsoft or IBM can test, their ideas and try out new things with, why do you suppose that they are choosing the Ethereum blockchain instead? Like, we have others like, Bitcoin blockchain, we got the, you know, NXT blockchain. We got the Litecoin.
Well,
There's a bunch of other
well,
Dogecoin that's been
yeah,
test
yeah,
already. So
but Ethereum has, what they've said is a Turing complete scripting language,
okay,
right? And that's something that no other blockchains have. That you can actually write programmable scripts. And I have not, and not only that, they've done multiple implementations in different languages like Go and Python and C++, right? So it's definitely, they've definitely are the most well-funded, and at this point, I think they are the ones to watch as far as the second generation blockchains, like the Bitcoin 2.0, among the Bitcoin 2.0 platforms out there.
okay.
Yeah.
So that's because of the Turing complete. That's the reason why they are doing that then.
Yes, yes, and they're probably one of the most well-funded and most ambitious of all of the Bitcoin 2.0 blockchain platforms out there at
Okay.
this point. Yeah, yeah.
Now, well, why do you suppose that that it's taking until now? Like, why have you seen anything on why they're doing it now?
Well, okay, so the roadmap is that Frontier was released over the summer, right?
Okay, so
And
Frontier is the name of the first software release of
for
the Ethereum.
Ethereum, it was the launch of the Ethereum blockchain, right? That was the launch that officially launched over the summer, and it was really buggy. It was not reliable, which was expected. Like this was not nothing that like they had planned it that way. They had gotten it to the point where they were stable enough to launch, the blockchain, right? Start mining.
Yeah.
But I remember I didn't like I have ethers. Full disclosure, I invested during the IPO, but I did not feel comfortable. Like the software was in a state where I did not feel comfortable to actually try to like send my ethers to anywhere, right? I basically it's still when we invested in the IPO, they gave us this JSON file, a text file
Yeah.
with our private keys, and basically I have that locked away somewhere, and I have not taken it out yet because I don't quite feel comfortable with the state of the software right now. Um,
Okay.
but the next version is Homestead, and I heard that it should be released shortly. It's supposed to just stabilize Frontier, right? There's still no user interface. Like there's nothing. Like if right now you want to send ethers to someone else, it's this command line utility you have to download. There's no GUI yet, right? And that won't be coming out until Metropolis, which is still probably to the second half of the year, to the end of the year before we see that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Uh, what I've been concerned about, of course, is funding, right? They had raised $15 million 2 years ago in that crowd sale. It was 31,000 Bitcoins. And at the time, Bitcoin was trading at 600 and change.
Yeah.
The IPO price was about 30 cents back then. As of right now, it's about $2 and change.
So that's an
And
increase of about 5x, five times,
five,
four
six,
times.
seven, yeah, yeah. Like it traded between 2 and 2.20 today,
Okay.
$2 to 2.20. So about 6 to 7 times, right? Since I think we had gotten it in 2014 sometime, right? Do you recall when we what year, what month? It was in 2014, I think, is when the crowd
Yeah.
sale was, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it's highly liquid. Like if you go on all the exchanges, I mean, it's trading about $7 million today. I mean, so there's quite a bit of trading activity, uh, but it's still a bit difficult to sell. What you'd have to do is to download the wallet, then load in the JSON file that we got, and then send your ethers to one of the exchanges that's making a market, and then sell it for bitcoins, and then sell your bitcoins for cash for US dollars if you want to do that.
Okay. Have you taken a look at their client? I mean,
I,
have
I did today because we're going to have to do that if you want to sell any, right? Because you have to get your ethers onto an exchange
yeah.
to trade them for bitcoins, right?
Hmm.
Right now, it seems like there's really, if you go to Coin Market Cap and you click on right now it's trading at $2.09. There's Kraken and there's Polynex that is making a
Polymex?
market. Yeah, if you look at the two, like Polynex has 60% of the volume and Kraken has about 20%,
Yeah.
and then there's a bunch of others that make up the rest of the volume, right? Um, and then there's also Shapeshift too, Shapeshift.io, that's also making a market, but they have a limit of I think, what is their limit right now? Their limit is you can only trade 200 ethers at a time. uh, yeah.
You know that one of the viewers, he said that he thought that R3 was funding the Ether.
Well, they've done a prototype that they're reported to, like the article that I read from CoinDesk was saying that they did a prototype between something like the 20 banks. They've built a consortium of a dozen banks or so, right?
Yeah.
One or two dozen banks, and they said that they actually got like a functional prototype. They claim that they have a functional prototype, and that prototype was built on the Ethereum platform, right? So
Yeah.
it could be, okay, so this is speculation on my part that it could be one of those guys, because the market is still very thin. As long as one of those guys, there's no like insider trading laws. It's not like there's no SEC in the cryptocurrency, right? It's all a free for all for trading. So there's definitely insider trading, and somebody knows something and can front run, uh, or it could be a pump and dump, right? I mean, we're still in the wild wild west phase of cryptocurrencies, so it definitely could be a pump and dump too. But I believe it could be somebody, you know, not necessarily a whale, but somebody who is willing to put a couple $1 million into Ethereum could cause a move that what we've seen in the last 3 weeks.
Hey, can I jump in here?
Yeah.
Can you guys? All right. So this is what I heard. Mike Hearn, he originally wanted XT, Bitcoin XT, which was
Yes.
the soft fork. But a lot of people were complaining of it being sporadic or issue problematic. So they cut his idea out, and they're going with this classic core thing. So what happened was Mike Hearn got mad because of it, and so he left. The whole Bitcoin community really sour about it. And so what he did was he ended up joining R3 and linking up with the guy. I have a link I can send you later to the whole conference where they talk about Bitcoin, where R3 was there, and that was the day Mike Hearn had announced his hatred towards Bitcoin. And what he wanted to do was link up the 42 banks using the Ethereum protocol. Now it's kind of coincidental that suddenly after that, it's only been a few, maybe a week now, and Ethereum just skyrockets. I cannot help but think that these banks are actually the one pumping it up. That's my
Yes,
opinion.
yes, that's exactly. When I read that R3's prototype was built on Ethereum, then it's not hard to speculate. It's not hard to believe that as long as one of those 20 or 30, or I don't know how many banks there were, but it was a couple dozen, I believe. As long as one of them want to get in on it, it could cause the rise that we're seeing right now. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah. Ty, you still there?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here. I just
All right.
muted my microphone because I got my
Sure.
dog barking in the background.
Okay, sure,
So
sure.
no, no, no. It's. Um, I hear what he's saying about Mike Hearn switching, and that's I mean that's a possible because if he's one of the main core developers that I always paid attention to and listened to because he just communicated in a way that made sense to me, that way I can understand about Bitcoin.
Mhm.
Some of the other guys, it was really hard to understand. So there's going to be a lot of people who trust Mike Hearn, and so if he moves, he makes a move. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to listen to him just because of that,
Sure, sure.
you know. So let me see here. Um, you want me to take a look at the charts and go over it with you?
Yeah, let's look at the charts. Let's put up the charts and see what let's think about like what should we do as did you the other guys, did you participate in the Ethereum IPO a couple I think it's been 2 years now, right? One and a half years ago?
I didn't
Um,
invest, not yet. I always thought that Vitalik had problems with it. Like every time he talks, he stutters, and I can't understand him. So the way he talks, I always figured he never got it done completely. That's my opinion. But you're saying that it's good now? Is that what you're saying?
It's definitely launched. It's not vaporware. He definitely delivered what he said he was going to deliver, right? And so I think that's I think that's what the bet was, right? The bet was that you gave him some bitcoins and that he would deliver the platform, and he has, right? I mean, it turns out that that's why Ethereum is now trading at $2, and it's up 7, 8 times from the IPO price. Uh, that doesn't mean that it still can't fail and it still can't fall apart, but I'm not recommending anyone buy it right now. But it definitely has it's definitely functional software, even though there's no GUI and there's no user interface. It's not useful to anyone but developers at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if the price is going up, I would jump on it right away. That's my opinion. I don't know if it's useful or not, but I would jump on it. Like Dogecoin was never
Yeah,
useful, but the price went up on that. Same with Ripple. Is Ripple even
sure.
around?
Ripple is still hanging there. Yes, Ripple is still hanging there. Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up
Yes.
the charts right now so that we can
Sure.
take a look at it.
Can I ask you guys something? Have y'all ever even used Bitcoin yet? Have you guys used it as a function, like actual money, buying something or sending money? Have y'all used it yet?
I
Yes,
can answer
I
that.
use it quite often. Okay, go ahead, Todd. Yep.
Leon uses it a lot more than I do um, to buy small stuff. I've used it to buy bigger stuff. Like I've bought several kilos of silver. And I have some friends, the guys that introduced me to Bitcoin in the first place. I know that they've bought like a bunch of hunting rifles and a bunch of ammunition and a bunch of gold and a bunch of silver. And they bought it from the same place that they originally bought all their stuff, guns, ammunition, and gold and silver. And so that's um, I might have even bought plane tickets with it before. But yeah, it's the same as regular currencies.
Yeah.
So and by the
Yeah, and
way,
I use it.
I
Mhm.
just want to make a point too. I bought the silver and the gold and stuff from the same place that I bought it before Bitcoin came out. So it's not like a new business popped up and started accepting Bitcoins. These reputable silver and gold dealers were already accepting regular payments long before Bitcoin came along.
Yeah, and I use Bitcoin for a lot of small transactions. Actually, what I've used it for is gift cards. Do you know there is a company out there called Purse.io that gives you that there is something like 18 billion, like tens of billions of dollars worth of Amazon credit out there, and many of these people who have this Amazon credit uh, can't buy anything from Amazon because Amazon doesn't ship to wherever they are, right? And so a lot of times they're stuck with this Amazon credit that they can't use. And so what this primarily comes is people are they're willing to like take bitcoins in exchange for their Amazon credits, and not only that, they're willing to buy your bitcoins at a premium between 20 and 30 to 40% premium to the spot price. So if you ever need uh, something on Amazon, that's something you can try. And I also use it to buy like gift cards in that way. There's another website called coffee.foldapp.com, and you can get 20% off Starbucks that way, right? So you could send them $20 worth of bitcoins, and they'll give you $25 of Starbucks credit. And the reason they can do that is because there's actually tens to hundreds of $1 billion of gift cards that go unused. Like either people don't want them or they lose them or whatever, and they're just trying to get some value back. So they're often willing to sell you these gift cards at a discount to their face value. And that's another application Bitcoin has. I think so far in practice, that's the most useful way to use your Bitcoins.
So hopefully that helps in some way.
Yeah,
I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen here,
yeah.
and then I will do the charts predictions here. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, you're gonna share your screen, or
Yeah, I'll share my screen. Let me know when you can see it.
yep, I see it. Well, let me turn off my camera here so that I get out of the way here. All right.
All right, so
So this is on Kraken, huh?
um, yeah. So I'm looking at the Kraken daily charts here, and I marked off some support and I mean some resistance levels here that we can look at. Let me just turn off this chat box here. Um, okay, there it is. All right, so I got this chart here, and let me just pull it right here. it's kind of finicky with just this one. All right. So as you can see, it broke this resistance already right here. Now, I'm not sure what the exact terminology is for this 412 because I'm used to reading it with 8 decimal places, but so I'm
Is
not
that
sure.
in?
Is this I guess you would read it as 412.
Yeah, 412. That's. I think we could just drop the zeros because I mean, at this
Yeah,
point it's trading at like 500,000 satoshis or something like that. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that's the term. I don't know what the correct name for it is. The units of measurement. But right now it's at 412. As you can see here, let me just draw
Well,
this vertical line. The vertical line here represents the lowest point that the price was at in uh, October 22nd. So that was the lowest price point there, and it looks like it was at uh, a low of 153. So it got down to
yep.
as low as 153, and it's been pretty much going sideways between the 200 and 300 mark, just bouncing sideways right here. And then since the beginning of the year, I would say that the launch of the price launch began pretty much right around here, uh, right around the second week or so of January, and that's where the base began, where it started to launch. You can also say that it might have started here around Christmas as well, if you want to really get technical on it. But the way I see it, it's getting up. Whether you say it's at Christmas or the beginning of the New Year's, it's irrelevant. I mean, it's still fairly close. But the prices ran up to last night when you contacted me at 578. So now it's uh, it's uh, it's uh, it's pretty high up there. Now you can expect a pullback right here. If you have not gotten into this trade yet, I would not get into it right now because if you are, you're going to be chasing the price. Obviously, you never want to jump in after there's a huge run up in price. As you can see by this purple trend line that I just put on the chart here, you want to make sure that the price comes back down to this trend line before you consider getting in. Because if you get in right now, there's going to be a bunch of people that are taking profits that got in down here that bought the low. So they are taking profits right now and they're selling to take profits, and you don't want to get caught in that selling pressure. Does that make sense, bro?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's.
Yeah. So the conservative place to get in would be when it starts to hug this purple trend line. Um, let me just drop it down to a 4-hour chart here. So that's what it would look like on a 4-hour chart, um, right there. So
Yeah.
you can adjust this trend line. All I'm doing is I'm just hitting the lows of all the candles here. And so
Mhm.
the best place to get in would be probably somewhere that as it comes down and it drifts down to like the 450 mark. So once it starts to drop below or around 450, I mean, I'm not going to get in because I already bought it at I already got a bunch of it when they first did their IPO, so there's no need for me to get in right now. So when I trade mostly Bitcoin anyway. Um, I'll probably get into the trading this later on just so I can get some practice in and get a head start on it because once it becomes more active, then it'll be worth it for me to trade. But for anyone that's investing in, I would not. I personally, if I did not get in during the IPO, I would not get in right now until it comes near this trend line. Ideally, because the volume for and the liquidity for the altcoins such as Ethereum is extremely low compared to others such as Bitcoin and stuff, I would not be surprised if the price comes and breaks the low of where the price launched right here, like right
Yeah.
around the 400 mark. I would not be surprised if it comes back and retests that support level before it continues going back up. So if you get in, let's say that you plan on investing like let's say 2 Bitcoins or whatever, I would probably get like 50% of that position right here around the 450, and then get the other 50% when it breaks below 400.
Yeah.
So that's just my projection. And if if you look at how it's, let me see if I can switch it back to the daily chart here.
Well, Ty, do you consider selling any part of your ethers that you got at the IPO?
Sure. So I plan on selling the ethers. I'm thinking that I'm planning on selling it somewhere when it gets. See, so there's going to be a pullback here. Let me just. Um, I'm not sure. Can you hear me despite all my kids screaming in the
I
background?
can hear you. Yes.
Okay. All right. So my kids love it whenever they hear me analyzing Bitcoin charts. They love to start screaming and yelling, especially if they know that I'm doing a broadcast because they want to be a part of the broadcast. So okay, so if we just what I did here is I just drew a trend line here, and all I did was I made a parallel channel just to get a rough draft of where I can expect the price to go. So if we take a measurement here real quick, all I'm going to do is just take a measurement of where the price, from when the price launched, from right around here, right? If it pulls back down to here, to the 400 or even the 450 mark, I can project out that it's going to come up here. When it comes back down here, let me just draw this out in case someone is not visually inclined here. So let's say that once it drops from here to here, right? Then I'm looking for it to shoot back up here to around the near the 700 mark, and I can actually either sell the bitcoins, I mean some of the Ethereum, and collect what I invested into the IPO. At this point, I would still not be too late, or I can, because it's really not that important to me whether I make money from this at the moment or not, because it's a long-term investment for me. So if it comes back to here and it shoots back up to here, for sure I will take some of the bitcoins off to recoup my initial investment, and then it'll
Sure.
probably pull back again um, like that to this trend line before it takes another shot up to the 80 mark right there.
Yeah.
So can you see that?
I do see that. I do see
Yeah.
that.
And
Well, it's
then
looking like
once I get back my initial investment on the Ethereum, then from there on it's going to be just that's just going to be all profits. So I'm not going to be in a rush to get out of that because it's like the old school traders say, let profits run. So I'm going to do my best to let it run.
sure, sure. And it's got some momentum. They got some momentum going, not just on the charts, but I think from Wall Street too. It seems right now.
Okay.
That's backing. This. They seem to have a lot of traction right now. They've definitely done a good job with uh, like promoting it, right? Like
Okay.
I think you and I both know this, Ty. They've definitely have a lot. They've been to all the conferences, and I think one of the things that's different is they're not anonymous, right? We know Vitalik, we know the guys that are actually working on it.
Yeah, if some of us are wondering, if some of you guys are wondering how Leon and I invest in it, we actually made a trip down to Austin, Texas, when they had the Texas Bitcoin conference, and we met Vitalik in person and interviewed him. If you guys look on our website, you will actually I'll put the link in the description. But we actually interviewed him, and James D'Angelo from the World Bitcoin Network, one of our other friends, also interviewed him, and so we had a chance to grill him for a lot of questions. And plus, I personally do not understand most of this technical stuff, but I trust my buddy Leon and James to ask the right questions, and the responses that Vitalik gave them were adequate and worthwhile to me to invest into it. So,
Yeah, and I had also I know he's not the best speaker. He does stutter, but he has also written volumes of blog posts about the ideas of what he was trying to accomplish in Ethereum. And it was a bet, right? It was a bet that
yeah,
he and his team would be able to, he wouldn't just take the money and run, right? He would actually come through with what he said he was going to build. And
I was not when I first met Vitalik at the Texas Bitcoin conference.
uh
I was not so much concerned about him running off with the money because, I mean, a lot of people think I was joking, but if you remember the video, I asked him what
yeah,
happens if you try to run off with my money. The thing
yeah,
was I was willing to take a risk with him because I don't see too many young people take that kind of initiative and put that much effort into a project.
yes,
So to me, it really did not matter if it was Ethereum. If he was trying to design an exercise app or a weight loss app, I would have invested into it anyway, simply because the guy is just a productive guy. I mean, if you read the blogs, that he puts out, I mean, that takes a lot of time and
yeah,
effort and consideration to come up with all that stuff. And he's all over the place doing interviews, and people who are much smarter than me and more technical than I am are grilling him on questions on what he's doing. So, I mean, most
yeah,
young kids are out there playing video games and shit, and he's over here trying to make a difference in the financial world. So, to me, it's worth
yeah.
the bet.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I feel the same way. That I think we were investing in the person
Yeah,
rather than the product, right? The Ethereum. We were actually investing in Vitalik and his team, right?
yeah. I really don't even know who his team is. I just know that
Uh,
when I was grilling him at the Texas Bitcoin conference, and you were grilling him, and so was James D'Angelo, he did not crack under pressure. He did not seem
yeah,
like he was under stress or under pressure because we were asking him all these hard questions, especially the questions I was asking him because you and James was asking him about technical stuff. I was just asking him about stuff like, hey, you're gonna run off with my money, you know.
yeah,
So the
yeah,
fact that he did not crack under pressure and stayed calm about it, so to me that was worth paying attention, worth investing into. And like I said, I did not, I don't have enough technical knowledge to invest in Ethereum, but I do have enough people skills to invest in people that I see are that have potential.
yeah, yeah.
So.
All right, all right. Well,
So here's my people are gonna want to know what's my projections for 2016 based on the charts that we see here, and this is what I'm gonna say. And keep in mind that I'm making this assessment based on my experience in trading stocks, futures, and commodities, and the forex currency market. So it's not so I'm trying to take my experience from those fields and trying to make an accurate or some kind of prediction here for Ethereum. And since uh, the altcoins have a weird way of trading, one is that they don't have all that nonsense that you have in the stock market. It's a cleaner in my opinion, it's a cleaner trade when you're trading cryptocurrencies, whether it's Bitcoin or NXT or Ethereum, simply because uh, they. It's just this is to me. This is how a true trading market should be done, without a bunch of regulations and a bunch of nonsense in between the buyer and the seller. So, I my projection is this. Let me just delete this here. My projection is that it will probably do something like this, and then come back up and test um, this high right here, like that. Test the 600 mark, and try to crack this resistance right here around this high right there, and then it will pull back after that. There's going to be some kind of pullback. I don't know how far it'll pull back, um, but it'll pull back at least to this, to retest this level that it just this resistance level that it just passed, and then from there, um, I project that it will continue to come up to here, and when it gets up to here, when it breaks this mark right here at this high, at the 840, 850 mark, there are going to be a lot of people that regretted that they didn't buy in right here, that they didn't buy in down here, and that they didn't buy here, or that they didn't buy in at the initial IPO. So there's always traders out there and investors that are regretful that they missed out on the move. It's what you call FOMO, Leon.
Yeah. Yes.
The fear, yeah, the fear of missing
Fear of
out.
missing out. Yes, fear of missing out. That's right.
So there's going to be a lot of FOMO traders that are going to jump in. The amateur traders, they're going to jump on this when it gets up to here, and it's going to push the price through. It's going to push the price through here, and what's going to happen is it's going to trigger all the stops that were up here from way back here. So there were investors, Ethereum investors, who made that money here, and they made a bucket load of money. They made a bucket load of money. However, they did not sell when it was at the top up here, so they regretted it. They're gritting their teeth, and they went through a lot of stress and mental anguish and a lot of just really mental frustration as the price was going down and down and down and down, and it went sideways like this. So now that it finally gets back up to the highs of where they wanted to sell before, their natural instinct is to sell, to make profits. So this selling pressure, I would not be surprised based on if it sells and it forces the price all the way back down to the to this level right here around the 500 mark. I would not be surprised at all if that selling pressure gets there.
Yeah.
And then after that settles down, right? Then I believe that it'll retest this 100 mark right here. And when it gets to this 100 mark, there are going to be a lot of people who, again, they missed out when the Ethereum was released and it was at 100. So there was people out there that invested 5 Bitcoins and they had 100 Bitcoins when the price started trading for Ethereum, and they missed out on that, so they regretted it, and they had to sat through all this stress. And again, when it gets up to here, they are going to sell immediately just to collect profits, and that selling pressure is going to that selling pressure is going to cause it to push the price back down from here down to here. Now, the second time that it does that, I don't anticipate that it will go back down to the 600 level again. It'll break the 800 level, this resistance right here, but I don't see it coming all the way down to 600 simply because the FOMO traders that missed out on this whole move right here, they are going to try to jump in right there. They're going to try to jump in right there, and then after that, the price is going to go up again. So based on what I'm seeing here, I would say that the price of Ethereum for 2016 will be above. I would say that it would be above this 110 mark right here. Now, I wish I knew the units that these the Bitcoins once it's in these decimal places.
That's 1/100th of a Bitcoin, Ty.
Okay.
That's how many Bitcoins. It's 0.00.01
Okay.
would be. But Ty, I think really what is going to drive whether Ethereum goes up or down is going to be, can they hit their milestones? I think the next big release will be Metropolis, I think it's called,
Yeah.
And what's the goal for that is there will remember right now there's no UI, right? It's
Yeah.
all command line. You have to download the command line tool. You have to type in, like Linux commands to do anything with it. Um, the there's going to be just like we have a web browser. Ethereum there's going to be like an Ethereum browser, and that thing is called Mist. That's the name of their browser, right?
Okay.
And that's going to be, I think, a pivotal moment is when you can have mass adoption of Ethereum applications, because there's actually will be a user interface to Ethers, just like the web took off uh, when there was Mozilla and Netscape, right? It's kind of
Yeah.
analogous to that. So just for people to understand what Ethereum is trying to do is to be like a decentralized web. It's kind of like a decentralized version of Amazon AWS, right? Or Google Cloud Engine, or Microsoft Azure, right? That seems to be, based on my interpretation of what their goals are, is to create something like a world computer that we don't have to centralize the internet around big corporations like Google or Facebook or Amazon, right? That, right now Bitcoin is just mining and trying to create these things called Bitcoins, but it's actually Ethereum's trying to become a platform for a decentralized platform that you can build web applications similar to what you would use on Amazon AWS.
Okay. If you notice right here, I just
Yeah,
layered a Fibonacci extension here, the Fibonacci tool, and all I did was I went from the low from the beginning of where it was launched back in August to the high when it initially opened, right? And if you notice, the um, I don't use a lot of Fibonacci extensions or ratios when I'm personally trading the the stocks or the forex or anything like that. But I will use it here simply because there's not enough historical data for us to go off of. But if you notice here, um, the difference between the high of on this red candle versus the high on this red candle, this shooting star right here, Leon, you'll notice that it
sure.
hits right smack in the where the 0% and the 23% mark is for the Fibonacci ratio, right? So if we extend this out um, to where it goes up, right? I would say that we can project that the price of Ethereum could possibly, if we go with a one-to-one, like a 100% reach projection, that it would hit somewhere right here at 150,
Sure.
at the
Sure.
150 mark. So I will go ahead and just leave it there the way it is right there. I'm going to be conservative on it. Like I said, I believe that when the price breaks this area right here, that red candle right there, that second red candle, when the price breaks that high, there's going to be a huge pullback, and then there's going to be lots of FOMO traders that's going to jump in on the bandwagon and 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 take it all the way up to here.
Sure.
So that's my my price projection for for the um, for the Ethereum in 2016. And the good news is that once it does reach that price, I don't think you and I are going to be sitting here doing these updates anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, we might just come back and just do the updates on the new Lamborghini that we're going to be getting.
That's right. That's right. Or Ferrari or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wherever wherever whatchamacallit Vitalik is, we'll drive the Lamborghini up there and give him a ride.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Once
All
once
right, man.
price.
I gotta get going, Ty. So.
So, all right,
Uh-huh.
guys. Thanks for joining us on this broadcast, guys, and for joining us for this Ethereum outlook for 2016 and the price prediction. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. If you like what we're broadcasting here, make sure you guys subscribe to our channel. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye.